Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A macro update on Ukraine. The Russians liberate, occupy, take control of two more settlements by Pokrovsk in the Donetsk People's Republic, or Donetsk Oblast, however you want to call it. The Ukrainians declare air alert because Russian MiG-31K takes off with Kinzhal missiles. Why is that important? Because Kinzhal can carry nuclear warheads, tactical nuclear warheads. That is, I think the Poles were also on high alert. Now we find out that Ukrainians continue the attempts to drag the whole world, if possible, in a war against Russia. If they could just stop to Europe and the United States of America and Canada, I mean the Western world, let's put it this way, I'm ignoring, others, then they would be satisfied because the order goes as follows. And then we find out that NATO tries to enter Ukraine via various means. Peacekeeping troops, advisors, trainers, all these kind of euphemisms. They want troops over there present legally. Now we have this, a big European country that tries to enter Ukraine just to learn from the war. So they want to send troops in Ukraine just to learn from the Ukrainians the war. Now this country is a big country, and this country will be probably struck by the Russians, who already said, if you do that, your troops will be legitimate target. I don't think that's enough coming from the Russians. I think the Russians should attach this. If you send troops over there, not only I will fuck them up, because that's exactly what those guys want, to send troops over there. So, no, not that. I'm going to strike you in your capital. And therefore, think twice. But hey, the Russians seem to be nicer than I am, even though I'm a good-natured person. All right, I'm going to show you the country and the map. And the last topics for this video is the United States of America proposes leaving former Ukrainian territories under Russian control. That is, deciding again on another country's borders. They decided already in Yugoslavia or Serbia with Kosovo. Why can't they do it again? All right, let's start with the first topic. This comes from Sputnik. It is from 5 hours ago, today on the 18th of April 2025. Russian forces liberate Valentinovka in Donetsk People's Republic. This is one, and the other one is Valentinovka and Kalinovo. All right, let's see where these are located. So I already have this map right here. This is, I will show you a bird's view bigger, zoomed out. This is Kalinovo, this is Valentinivka, and these are by Pokrovsk front, which is right here, Pokrovsk, Jesus Christ. So these two, as I said, are in this area here, liberated, so the Russians are advancing. It's right in the middle of the hostilities. This is Ukraine, this is Crimean Peninsula, it's right in the center. All right, let's see how the Ukrainians shit their pants when the Russians MiG-31K takes off, according to New Voice of Ukraine. Ukraine declares air alert as Russian MiG-31K takes off. And they are armed, if you look over here, with the Kinzhal missiles, hypersonic, nuclear-capable missiles. All right, an air raid alert was issued across Ukraine after a Russian MiG-31K fighter jet took off, triggering concerns about a potential missile strike on April 18th. The problem is these guys are monitoring channels have reported that the Russian MiG-31K fighter jet, capable of launching Kh-47M2 Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, was approaching its launch position. Why is that important? Because they can't down it. Oh yeah, they have Patriot systems and they can do wonders. And they might be triggering the Russians' response with tactical nuclear weapons to end the shit, which I don't think is going to happen. All right, next one. But the Ukrainians, on the other hand, want to they have been trying, the guys in charge of Ukraine, they have been trying since the beginning of this, whatever is going on over there in Ukraine, to drag NATO countries in, therefore fight against the evil Russians. And here it is, the foreign minister of Ukraine, only real strength, what does that mean? Brute strength, can stop Russia's war machine. So Russia's war machine, so these guys are geniuses sometimes, the guys that make propaganda. Can you imagine how they sit around and they think, what can we do? What kind of title or reason or, aspect, angle of the war can we come up with in order to fool the baboons over there into believing this or that with the, end game, that conclusion. So when we do that, they were already prepared. Right now they tell you, only the real strength, that is West, go, attack Russia's war machine, which is already at war with us. So that means that needs to be crippled. How do you cripple a war machine? Not with freaking cut the oil and shit. No, only brute force. That means straight, boom. So this is Sbiha, right? Russia is a machine of terror, and it can only be stopped through diplomacy and pressure, particularly with more sanctions, he said. His statement came in response to Russia's strike across Ukraine. All right, but the guy says that, wait a minute, we have to bring peace with diplomacy. But for Russia, it was just another day of terror. At least one person, Russia, attacked Russia as a terror machine. I'm quoting. It will only stop if we confront it with true strength. The only effective formula to deal with Russia is diplomacy plus pressure. Additional sanctions to take the fuel. No, you can't say diplomacy with pressure and you say true strength. And then brute strength, I would say. Nevertheless, they say additional support for Ukraine to protect our people. Whose people? Zelensky's people? Those are in Tel Aviv. Next, right there. Business Insider. A NATO country will send troops to Ukraine to learn from the war. Russia said they will be legitimate targets. What is the country? What do you think the country will be? And once I ask you that, I will show you a map and I will show you the total population of that country. All right. You don't know? The country's name is Denmark. The ones with Greenland that Trump will take. You know where Denmark is? I'm talking about, I'm asking the non-European viewers. Do you know where Denmark is? Let's say you live in Philippines or Japan. Or let's say maybe Australia. Do you know where Denmark is? I know I don't mean to insult anybody, but it's a very small country with a very small population. Okay, they will send troops to learn. Who is Denmark getting ready to fight? The United States of America and Greenland. Why do you go over there? Who are you gonna fight, Denmark? Who would you dare to challenge? No, this is a provocation. These guys in the NATO have been doing this from the beginning. A little bit of something, and they pushed. And unfortunately for the Russians, they let them push and push. The first bullet a country sent to Ukraine, that country will be warned with attack. That's it. You're my enemy right there. And if I'm okay with the Ukrainians because they're my cousins, you're not. Denmark is not my cousin. Germany is not my cousin. Anglo-Saxons are not my cousins. Maybe I will cut Poland a little bit here and there. But no, you have the Denmark. Let me show you Denmark. So, the mighty Danes right there. What's this? Napoleon's guard. Oh, they don't have... Oh, look at that guy. Okay, at least they're all men. It's a plus. Denmark said it will send soldiers to Ukraine for training to learn from real combat, world combat. You understand? Unarmed troops, they will unarmed. I swear God is going to be like that. Will go to Western Ukraine to learn drone warfare. Denmark's commander-in-chief. Why do you need to go into Western Ukraine? Why don't you go into Eastern Ukraine? Russia responded that the location of personnel and equipment would be a legitimate target. Denmark is planning to send some of its soldiers to Ukraine so they can learn from Ukrainian experience fighting Russia. And Russia said they would be legitimate military targets. Of course they would be. Of course they would be. First hand. So what do you mean they're going to see them first hand? We're sending some teams down to see what experiences the Ukrainians have had first hand. So let me see. You need to go to the location to see how those guys are fighting, but you go to West Ukraine, not to East Ukraine, where the war is. So if that's so, why don't you just invite the baboon Ukrainians in Copenhagen? Then you learn right there. Or you don't have land. All right, let's see. I'll show you Denmark. Denmark, capital, Copenhagen. Population is right there. A village, 5.8 million people. Now these guys are going to send away because they're going to fight someone. And now I'm going to give you a test, my friend, a geography test. Don't be, it's okay. I'm not going to hear your answers. You tell me, where is Denmark? This is the map of Europe. No, Denmark is not the red one. It's a big one. No, not the yellow. No, not even this one right here. Oh, not even France. No, or Germany or Poland. No, not even Romania or Turkey right there. No, Spain. I will point to you where Denmark is. You see over there, that one? We're going to go to Faroe Islands now. All right. Now, Paris. Come on, baby doll. Come on, baby doll. Cooperate with me. You don't want to? She's too fat for me? Okay. All right. There is Denmark right here. Now, this is the mighty Denmark that's smaller than Lithuania or Latvia, probably the quantity of Estonia with 1.2 million or something. And these guys right here are 6 or 5 point some million, 5.8 million people, right? Those guys over there. And these guys right here, they want to fight those guys over here. They want to send troops to Ukrainska right here in the west of Ukraine, right there, not in the east where the war is going on over there. Nah. We're going to we learn first-hand experience for Copenhagen with love right there. And the Russians will, instead of saying, no, you see Kaliningrad over here? Right there. That's all I would do. I would tell the Danes. You send one guy over there and we smell him over there, we're going to just attack you. No, it's not going to work. No, you want experience? Go to the movies. The Hollywood will give you enough experience about the Holocaust and the Second World War. Go over there. No? I'm so angry about this garbage. All right, let's go to the last part of this video, which is I think one of the most important parts, which is United States proposes leaving former Ukrainian territories under Russian control. Bloomberg. This is from 18th of April. It's 2:00 p.m. Washington's offer also reportedly envisions easing sanctions on Moscow and ending Kiev's NATO aspirations. Who won? The Russians. You got it? The US has presented its allies with the details of its peace plan to bring the conflict between Russia and Ukraine to an end. There you go. So, who's winning? I told you. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.